Zeno of Elea was a famous Greek philosopher who proposed many paradoxes that seem impossible to explain. One great example is the Achilles paradox. The Achilles paradox states that if Achilles were to race against a tortoise, he would never be able to catch up to it, provided that the turtle receives a slight head start at the beginning. But how can this be? Well, Zeno's reasoning was that every time Achilles caught up to where the tortoise had been, it would have moved forward a bit more, so Achilles has to run to where the tortoise is now. But by the time Achilles runs to the place where the tortoise had just been, it would have moved forward a tiny amount again. The process repeats infinitely, with the gap between them getting smaller and smaller, but Achilles can never beat the tortoise. This reasoning makes sense, but if you simply invoke your one brain cell, you'd know that Achilles should be able to easily beat the tortoise in real life. So what's happening here? Well, here's a simple question. If you add up an infinite amount of numbers, do you always get an infinite sum? Actually, no. For example, if you add 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 and so on, you'll get a sum that gets closer and closer to 1, but never actually reaches it. This is an example of an infinite geometric series, and it's why Achilles seems to never be able to catch up to the tortoise. Let's take a look at this visually. This line represents the path that Achilles and the tortoise take during the race. Achilles starts here and the tortoise starts here with a slight head start. If we look at what this race would look like in real life, Achilles should be able to surpass the tortoise, here, as indicated by the red line. However, following Zeno's logic, whenever Achilles reaches where the tortoise had just been, it would have moved forward again, and the process repeats infinitely. If you take a closer look at this pattern, you'll see that it's actually an infinite geometric series, meaning that Achilles will take an infinite number of steps to reach a finite distance, as indicated by the blue line. What you can see here is that Achilles never even reaches the point where he beats the tortoise. What Zeno failed to realize with his logic was that an infinite series of numbers can have a finite sum. Do you understand now?